Good morning. Welcome to our worship service at the First Unitarian Church of Worcester, Massachusetts. I'm Sarah Stewart. I'm the minister here. It is wonderful to have all of you with us this morning. I'm leading worship this morning with our Director of Music, Will Sherwood, our Director of Faith Development, Julia Donaldson, our Children's Coordinator, Abigail Hannaford-Riccardi, and Darren Belanger, our broadcast tech. Our junior high youth group by Coda will be performing our Maccabees play this morning. And we are especially pleased to have the Court Hill Klezmer Band with us once again on a repeat performance from Hanukkah parties of years past. Dave Blodgett, Tony Ostro, Jerry Bellows, Rick McCarthy, and Dave Castle, welcome and thank you for being with us this morning. Here at First Unitarian Church, we strive in loving fellowship to honor the sacred, connect with each other, and serve justice. We are a welcoming congregation. Whatever your age, race, class, nationality, sexual orientation, or gender identity, we are delighted to have you with us this morning. We are worshiping as one congregation in many places. We have people here in the sanctuary and people joining us online. If you're here in the sanctuary while keeping your mask on, feel free to participate in all of the unison prayers and readings and sing the hymns. If you're at home, the words to the readings and the hymns will appear on your screen so that you can join in as well. All are welcome to join us for social hour in the church parlor through either door at the front of the sanctuary. This door on my left is the accessible entrance. There will be snacks for children upstairs. There's no Camp Athena this morning because the whole service is for all ages, but if kids want to go upstairs to play and have snacks after the service, snacks are there for you. Both upstairs with the children and in the dining room for adults, you may remove your mask while eating or drinking, but please put it back on at other times. Paul Belanger has an announcement for our caring community.
Hello, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Paul Belanger, and I've been a member of this church since 2009, I believe, and with my family. I've been asked to talk to you a little bit about the Caring Communities survey that went out a few weeks ago, and to encourage you to fill one out yourself. Why did I fill out the survey? I was a part of the group that actually helped to begin some of the ideas of creating the caring community way back in 2012, I believe it was. It's evolved as our church has evolved and the needs of the church has evolved. And it's a wonderful structure to help each other. And it's a way to basically find it in an easier way, find who's needy and people who can help those needy people right here in our own community. We lead busy lives, and our family is certainly no exception. Jobs, school, organizations, lessons, sports, everything else. Doesn't leave a lot of free time. But I have to say, I jumped at the opportunity to fill it out and to find a way that we could actually give back to each other. I'm also a psychology teacher, for those of you who don't know, and I know a lot of the recent research in psychology talks about some of the benefits of doing good for other people. Not only does it help you in your own mental health, your own physical health, even on occasion there's something called the helper's high, that you can actually feel a rush of endorphins when you actually help other people. So there's clear personal benefit to it, but really it's about helping each other and the intrinsic benefit of helping other people. One of the great ways that this is set up is that you do not have to commit an enormous amount of time and effort and resources. It really can be as little or as much as that you feel capable of giving. So when I got that email that said, please fill out what you can do as a family, it was easy to do because it's the right thing to do. There's also, for those of you who have not gotten the email yet, in the Bancroft room, there are some paper surveys that you can fill out right here today after the service. So I would encourage you all to do that. Because even if you just do a little bit and we all put it together, you know, the classic line, many hands make light work. And it's work that is worthy of us and will benefit all of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Those surveys give you a chance to say if you want to bring meals or offer rides or do some housework when people are in need. So please look in your email or pick up one of the green surveys in the Bancroft room. Those of you online, you can like this video to help others find us and subscribe to our channel to find more content. The newsletter is the best way for everybody to stay in touch with what we're doing as a church. To receive our newsletter, you can sign up at the welcome table in the Bancroft room or go to firstunitarian.com and click subscribe to our newsletter at the bottom of any page. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. We give thanks for the traditions that make our holidays special. Baking and frosting cookies with our children. Making Thanksgiving gingerbread houses. Watching and playing sports, trimming the tree, singing during our candlelight service, honoring the religious diversity in our communities, watching home family movies and remembering those who have gone before, driving around to look at holiday lights, special meals that only your family makes in exactly the right way, decorating wreaths, lighting the menorah, opening presents, family songs. We celebrate all the traditions that keep holy time in our lives. Amen.
And now Emerson will light our chalice for us. In the spirit of love, we light this chalice. And now I'm going to invite the Wallander family, Miles, Ava, Amelia, Mike, and Sarah, up to light our first Advent candle and say some words about peace and what peace means to them. So it's this one.
Do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace. From Dalai Lama.
Peace does not mean to be in a place where there is no noise, trouble, or hard work. Peace is to be in the midst of those things and still be calm in your heart. From Unknown.
Peace begins with a smile. Mother Teresa.
Thank you.
Please rise in body or spirit to renew the covenant of our church with the words printed in your order of service and appearing on your screen. In the love of truth and in the spirit of Jesus, we unite for the worship of God and the service of all.
At Hanukkah, we tell the story of ancient faithfulness and glory, of freedom lost and freedom won by Jews who knew what must be done.
The Greeks had gods. The Greeks had gods, yes, more than one. God of the sea, God of the sun. Throw in a party god for fun. King Antiochus ruled the land. Bow down to them was his command. And that's not all. I order you to dress and eat and act Greek too. No way, said every faithful Jew. Sometimes it only takes a few who know what's right and do it too.
But Antiochus had great power. When they refused, his mood turned to sour. Jerusalem, he snarled and frowned, will desecrate their holy ground, put statues of our gods around, stamp out the traitors where they're found. Some Jews gave in and some Jews fled. Then one Jew, Mattathias, said, "To your idols I won't pray. Your laws aren't mine, I won't obey." He drew his sword and got away. Sometimes it only takes a few who know what's right and do it too.
But Mattathias said, I'm old. We need a leader, strong and bold. I have 5 sons, whom should I choose? And he conducted interviews. Jonathan is plenty smart. And Simon knows a martial art. The other 2 will do their part. Oh, but Judah, what a heart. He called to Judah at first light. Our farmers, shepherds, you'll unite. Deep in the mountains, out of sight. With patience teach them how to fight. Then lead attacks through dark of night. Said Judah, eager, brave, and bright, count on me to do what's right. With all my heart and all my might. Sometimes it only takes a few who know what's right and do it too.
So Judah led the scrappy band to fight for freedom through the land. Now all admired his strong command. He's like a hammer in our hand. So Maccabee was his new name. The Maccabees gained instant fame. The armies of the king were strong, but they thought they'd win, but they were wrong. The Maccabees fought hard and long. King Antiochus finally said, "Enough, enough, enough bloodshed." Then Judah's men saw just ahead Jerusalem with ruins spread, and thought they'd won. They moaned and said, "All is lost, this place is dead." Did Judah wail and hang his head? No, he told them all instead. Sometimes it only takes a few who knows what's right and do it too.
Our temple is a royal mess, but we have come to repossess. So do I have a volunteer to get the idols out of here? Who'd like to put in flower seeds? Someone called, "Look what I've found, our broken altar on the ground." And Judah said, "Who's good with bricks? These are problems we can fix."
Enthusiasm filled the air. All people scurried everywhere. A new menorah, aren't we clever? Its holy light will burn forever. A search for oil was underway. But bad news spoiled their holiday. "This jug will last for just one day," the people cried. "But it takes 8. to make more oil, and it's too late. You're right, said Judah. We can't wait. Use what we have, that little bit. They all agreed. The oil was lit. The next day still it burned like new, third, the fourth, the fifth day too. For 3 more days their wonders grew, free to worship without fear. They said, remember every year a miracle has happened here, and like brave Judah they all knew, sometimes it only takes a few who know what's right and do it too.
If Judah were alive today, what would he do? What would he say? He'd smile at the familiar sight of our menorah burning bright, and join in prayers that we recite. He'd thrill us with a tale or two about his brave and loyal crew. We'd beg for more when he was through, but Judah lived long, long ago. Of course he can't come see us, so some of these things we'll never know. Yet we'll remember this, it's true. Sometimes it only takes a few.
Hanukkah commemorates the miracle of the Maccabees, just basically a bunch of farmers who defeated the most powerful army in the world at the time for their religious freedom. And so Hanukkah begins tonight, and this is going to be a symbolic lighting because it doesn't start until sundown. I'm going to light the shamus, that's this one right here. So a normal menorah has 7 branches, like the one you see up there. If you see one with 9, like this, it's called the Chanukah, and it's made specially for Hanukkah. So I've lit the shamus, and now I'm going to say some prayers. There are 3 prayers. I'm going to say 2 of them and light our first candle. You always put the candles in from left to right and light them in the reverse order, so the newest one as you're adding one each night. Blessed are you, our God, Adonai, eternal one, who tells us to celebrate Hanukkah by kindling these lights. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. And the second blessing. Blessed are you, our God, Adonai, eternal one, who made miracles for our ancestors in times and seasons past. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher nisim la'avoteinu, bayamim chaim, b'zman chazeh. I'm going to light our symbolic candle. And there's one more blessing called the Shechianu, and it's traditionally said on the first night of Hanukkah or any night during the holiday when you have new family or friends that are gathered together that you haven't seen in a while. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, eternal one, who has kept us alive, sustained us, and encouraged us to celebrate this happy day. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher chayanu, v'kiyamanu, v'chigianu, lazman chazeh. Happy Hanukkah.
Please join me in the common prayer printed in your order of service and appearing on your screen. O source of light and truth, creator of the eternal law of goodness, help us to find knowledge by which to live. Lead us to take the promises we make into our own hearts and our lives. Bless all who enter this sanctuary in need, all who bring the offerings of their hearts. May our worship lead us to acts of kindness, peace, and love. Amen. Please continue your own thoughts and prayers in silence. In this time of prayer, we share the joys and sorrows of our church with one another. Jeff Baxter lights a candle in memory of his brother, Jim Baxter, who died suddenly and unexpectedly on Sunday, November 21st. He was a member of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke, Virginia, where he truly enjoyed singing in their choir. His light was bright and will continue to shine through all who knew and loved him. We're holding Jeff and Tracy and the Baxter family in our hearts today. We're holding in our hearts, too, all of those joys and sorrows which go unspoken among us. And we reach out to one another in compassion as we say together the prayer of Jesus. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Our ministries at First Unitarian Church thrive because of your support. In the past week, railings were installed at steps around the church property to improve safety and ease of access. And related to that, your accessibility team met to brainstorm how First Unitarian Church can be more welcoming and accessible to people with disabilities. The senior high youth group, YRU2, is meeting today to rake leaves for the LGBT Asylum Task Force. Everything we do together as a church is thanks to your support. Your offering makes a difference. Thank you for your generosity. The ushers will receive this morning's offering, or you can use the QR code in your order of service. If you're online, you can text the number on your screen or go to firstunitarian.com and click Give Online at the top of any page. I invite your generous contributions for the good work of First Unitarian Church. Our story today is from the Babylonian Talmud. Rabbi Baruch Hosea was standing in the market of a Persian town. He looked at all the people bustling all around him. He saw people who were buying and selling wares. He saw children running here and there. He saw people on errands and beggars sitting in the dust. And he wondered to himself, look at all these different people doing all these different things. How can I know who is good in God's eyes? Here I see people who are making a fair trade for goods. And here I see an act of kindness. And here I see a child giving a coin to a beggar. But I don't know how they feel in their hearts, and I don't know what they do when no one can see them. Who knows who has a place in the world to come? As if in an answer to this question, Elijah appeared to the rabbi. And Rabbi Baruch turned to Elijah and said, "Who in this market has a share of the world to come?" Elijah shook his head, and the great prophet said, "No one. There is no one who does only good and no bad, who is assured of a place in the world to come." But just at that moment, two new people entered the market, and Elijah's eyes lit up. A smile spread across his face, and he turned to Rabbi Baruch. Elijah said, "I was wrong. These two people have a share in the world to come." Rabbi Baruch was so excited. Here were two people who were good, who were assured of their place. God had written them into the book of life. Who could they be? Did they give all their wealth to the poor? Did they tend the sick? Were they rabbis like him? Were they great leaders? The rabbi went up to these two newcomers and said, "What is your occupation?" They replied, "We are jesters. When we see people depressed, we cheer them up. Furthermore, when we see two people quarreling, we strive to make peace between them." We are going to sing Hine Ma Tov as our next hymn. It is number 392 in your gray hymnal. And this is a round. So we are going to sing it through together once in unison, and then Abby and I are going to split the congregation in half and lead us singing the whole thing twice through as a round. So please rise in body or spirit and join in singing Hine Ma Tov. Hanukkah is a minor holiday in the Jewish calendar, but it is one celebrated and remembered with great joy. For one thing, it definitely appeals to children. Games and gifts to open and candies to eat, and a celebration that goes on for 8 days. Spinning the dreidel, remembering the connection to the past, celebrating freedom and the rights of all people to be free. It is a holiday of great joy. And even though you could think it's minor, it's recent, it's not as important as Passover or Sukkot, but part of what makes it stick, I think, is that joy. Because we want to do things that bring us joy, that make us feel happy, that connect us to one another. And of course, because it appeals to children, that helps perpetuate the tradition, because children are very good at knowing exactly how a holiday should be and enforcing it for the rest of the family. Joy naturally keeps itself going through our traditions. In the story as it's told in the Bible, a section of the Bible that was written in Greek telling some of the more recent history of the Jewish people after the Tanakh, the holy book of Bible of Judaism, was complete, there is some joy and good feeling in that story. There's gratitude, for instance, that the sacred oil held out for 8 days. There's awe at God's power and generosity. Thanksgiving that God is understanding and doesn't hold the Jews to the letter of the law when they work to reconsecrate the temple. Because there wasn't enough oil, and there could have been punishment for that problem. But the story tells us that's not who God is. God is giving and generous, and that's part of what the story is about. Being faithful is more about the good in our hearts and the effort we make to do the right thing than it is about being able to follow the letter of the law exactly. And the story also puts us firmly on the side of the plucky Maccabees who are successful in their fight against the much larger empire. We love it when the underdog wins. But still, this is a story that we don't have to remember with joy, because it is a war story, and rededicating the temple comes not at the end, but in the middle of the war. The Maccabees have retreated to the hills around Judea. They're fighting a much larger force, a guerrilla war. They're homeless and uncomfortable. Families are separated, people are wounded and dying. Young Judean men have to kill or be killed in battles. The Maccabees win in the end, but their victory doesn't last forever. The Herods of the Christmas story are the political descendants of the Maccabean rulers, but by then they're back to being under the thumb of a much larger empire. Wars generate bitterness and cycles of revenge. Communities are very capable of holding on to grudges for generations. I heard this week about how the civil war in Ethiopia is the result of centuries of grudges held and perpetuated back and forth. Hanukkah could have been a story like that. It could be a remembrance of those who died and an ongoing commitment to retribution and restitution. I venture it's the joy that helps us escape from that grim insistence on war and payback. Joy slips in and catches us off guard. Joy makes us laugh when we could be angry. Joy finds us against our will sometimes, sneaking in smiles and good feelings even when we are absolutely committed to our anger. It's like Elijah said in the story we heard this morning, the jesters are the holiest people in the town square, because through their laughter they bring peace between people. It's so much harder to be angry at someone we are laughing with. The jesters bring joy where they travel and perform, and through their joy, they sow peace. Right now, we here are in another hard time in our world. There are wars around the world, inequities, forced migration, hardship between peoples. The pandemic continues, even though our patience for it has worn out. Gun violence is increasing in America, and the law sometimes seems helpless to stop it. Our values of democracy, justice for all, and triumph of the truth seem under attack. We could respond to this moment with bitterness and despair, and find ourselves backed into the bottomless need to make someone pay. Or we could let the joy of this season into our hearts and our lives. Part of why it has been so important to me for us to return church to everyone for this year, to have our services both online for those at home and in person for those who want to come, is that church brings us joy. Being together brings happiness into our lives. Celebrating our holidays is joyful. We must let the sorrow of the world into our hearts because it inspires us to do better. But no less, we must let the joy of our community together and our celebrations give us energy and strength to make all the world a place of peace and well-being. May the oil of our gladness last beyond all measure, giving us light to carry into the world. I love you all. Amen. We as a church have a gift for everyone to share joy on this special day. I'd like to invite our Bicota actors back forward to help share the gift with the congregation. Go forth into the world in peace. Be of good courage. Hold fast that which is good. Render to no one evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the afflicted. Honor everyone. Love and serve the holy, rejoicing in the power of the Spirit forever. Amen. Please be seated for the postlude.